So next week is going to be the release of the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny movie, and a lot of people are really highly anticipative of this movie considering we all know how Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had turned out. So hopefully with this movie, the franchise ends off on a way better note, but obviously if you don't know who I am DK Wrestler, and in today's video, of course, will be a top 10 list of Indiana Jones Funko Pops. Let's get right to it with my number 10 pick. So coming in at number 10 on my list, it is the Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark pop movie posters. Now, this doesn't really have much to it because obviously the pop inside of the movie posters is just a regular old Indiana Jones holding his whip. We already do have a couple of those pops, except in this case, because it's in the movie poster, I believe the pop is a 6-inch, but showing recognition of the first Indiana Jones movie that started off the franchise is definitely worth noting for this list and why I thought it should have deserved at least a spot on this list, more specifically number 10. Coming in at number 9 on my list, it is the GameStop exclusive short round. Now, in a way, I'm cheating, but not cheating, and I'm saying that because as I'm recording this video, this pop technically has not been officially confirmed by Funko as of yet. Certain dirt sheet pages have showed off this glam as just a regular GameStop exclusive, but at the moment it is currently speculated to be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive shared with GameStop, so depending on when you're watching this pop could already be confirmed, but I thought that if I was going to mention any sort of character that wasn't Indiana Jones on this list, which is kind of a spoiler but not a spoiler, then I knew that Short Round definitely had to be featured on here, and especially because I believe the actor who had played Short Round back in the day, I believe just recently won like an Emmy or an Oscar, and there's like a whole video on it. I do like the whole stance there where he has one arm to the side and the other just kind of pointing forward, and of course with these new Indiana Jones pops, they have the cool Indiana Jones stone-like bases, so I do enjoy that about this pop, but I do feel that some of the other pops do have a little bit more detail, which is why this only made it to number 9. Coming in at number 8 on my list is the Funko Shop exclusive Indiana Jones in white suit. Now this is a pretty decent Funko Pop. I believe this was in the first movie where he's in some sort of disguise at like a party. I can't exactly remember since it has been quite a while since I last seen any of the Indiana Jones movies, but this one's really cool. You do have more of a 5 o'clock shadow on his face, which I do like that detail. Obviously he's got the slick back hair and he's wearing the white suit with, I believe, the vial in his hand, which is pretty cool. I like how they did this, and I do enjoy the stance also, like he's trying to sneak around the party. Coming in at number 7 on my list is the Funko Shop exclusive Professor Indiana Jones. Now when I first heard about a new wave of Indiana Jones coming out, I knew right away that I felt there definitely needed to be a Professor Indiana Jones, because after all, besides going on his adventures, his real life job is being a professor at a university teaching about archaeology, which is really cool that they pulled this off in Funko Pop form. Obviously he is wearing the glasses. Once again, he's got the slick back hair. He's got the pose where his one arm is in his pocket and then the other arm is holding a piece of chalk, which is really, really cool. You don't really need to do much more. It didn't need to be like a deluxe where there's a chalkboard and he's like doing some sort of lesson. I think this is just simple enough. Coming in at number 6 on my list, it is the Amazon exclusive Indiana Jones and Henry Jones Sr. pop rides. Now this is a pretty decent pop rides. I love the whole setup where obviously it's Indiana Jones on the bike and then Henry Jones Sr.'s on the little passenger vehicle on the side there, which is really cool. It does have a bit of a base where it's almost like a dirt-like ground, and you do see some of the dirt kind of flying up from the wheels there, so I do like that, but I do think that there is a better pop rides on this list, which kind of spoils it because we already know that there's only one other pop rides as terms to this set, but nonetheless, this is still pretty cool. Coming in at number 5 on my list is the Funko Shop exclusive Indiana Jones Lights and Sounds pop. Now, this is a wicked way to make a moment like this. Of course, this is in the first movie with Raiders of the Lost Ark, where obviously he's about to switch up the idol that he's trying to grab with something else in the tomb there. The snake is on top of there, so it really makes me curious of what the sound is for this. I'm assuming the lights are obviously going to be anything that is yellow within the skull, but nonetheless, I think it's the fact that we don't really know what the sound could be or what multiple sounds there possibly could be and why it couldn't make it any higher. If this would already released and we knew what the sounds were like, then I think that this pop probably would have been made it at least 1 or 2 more spots higher. This is pretty sweet, and especially the art done on the box is cool, where it's a nice black box instead of the traditional white boxes that you see on Funko Pops. Coming in at number 4 on my list is the Hot Topic exclusive Indiana Jones with sword and whip. Now this is a really cool detailed pop, especially when you look at the head sculpt, and he has the scrapes along the left side of the face. Of course, you do have the 5 o'clock shadow like usual, but you have the bruising underneath the other eye, and you do have a little scrape near the bottom lip of Indiana Jones right there. His shirt is partially open. He's got the sword, the whip is out, and of course, like with all of the new Indiana Jones pops, they have the cool stone-like base. So this is a really interesting looking Funko Pop, and I know people were excited about this. A lot of people did go to their local Hot Topics to get this pop, and I mean, I don't blame them. It's a really cool pop, hence why it made it at least on the top 5 portion of this top 10 list. Coming in at number 3 on my list is the 2016 New York Comic Con shared with Disney Parks exclusive Indy's Ride. This is a really awesome pop ride. It is, I believe, the second Indiana Jones pop to have released, which is really cool, and I love the detail of obviously the car that he's in, or I believe it's supposed to be a Jeep, and then you have the dirt all along the front and even the sides there. I think they did a great job with this pop, especially for a year like 2016 when Funko was just about to begin evolving the detail in their pop figures. And then I can actually see in the picture where it shows the pop in the box that the pop is just standing in there and it's not actually like sitting on a seat, while let's say if this pop was made in 2023 with this new wave, that he actually would probably be sitting in a seat, unlike a lot of the older pops where it's just cut out a rectangle and then just put a normal pop inside of there, which is why it didn't make it at least number 2 or possibly number 1, but nonetheless, it's still a really wicked pop. Coming in at number 2 on my list is the 2016 San Diego Comic-Con Indiana Jones. The first ever Indiana Jones Funko Pop that started off the set. You gotta give this pop a lot of acknowledgement. This is a pretty sweet pop. It's in a simplistic pose. It's got the whip in his hand. He's obviously holding the idol in his left hand or right hand, depending on which way you're actually looking at it. And then he has his hat, the 5 o'clock shadow. The detail hasn't really changed much in terms to the head sculpt, but nonetheless, I knew that this being the first Indiana Jones Funko Pop, I had to put this really high on the list, but I know of exactly one pop that is definitely better than this one and is my favorite of the set. But before we move on to my number 1 pick, I'm going to be mentioning 2 honorable mentions for this top 10 list. So the first honorable mention I have is the Disney Parks exclusive Indiana Jones with sword. Now the thing with this pop is that I didn't want to put this on the list considering that we have the Hot Topic exclusive that I mentioned earlier, and that they're pretty much almost the same exact pop, except with this one he is holding some sort of like, I can't remember if that's a rock or some sort of walkie-talkie or something. I don't think it would be a walkie-talkie, but some sort of other object besides the whip in his hand, but he still has the sword in his left hand. He does have scrapes on his left side of the face and then the bruising under the right eye of the face. So it's almost the exact same pop. So this is still pretty cool, but I just felt like it would have been a waste of a spot to add both the Disney Parks exclusive and the Hot Topic exclusive. And the other honorable mention I have is the Dr. Jurgen Voller for the brand new Dial of Destiny movie. Now there are only about 4 pops in this set, but I thought this one was cool to once again talk about a character that isn't Indiana Jones as a part of this list. And I mean, I like the detail where obviously you have the slicked back gray hair, his eyes are partially closed to do some sort of expression, you got the 5 o'clock shadow, he's got a pen and notebook in his hand, and of course the Indiana Jones stone-like base. So, and I do like the way that this pop looks, and I thought I would mention one of these pops considering that these pops do have the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny sticker on the bottom right of the window. And then coming in at number 1 is the Indiana Jones Boulder Escape movie moments. This pop is absolutely fantastic. Even if you haven't seen a full-on Indiana Jones movie, you know of this scene. It's one of those more iconic scenes. This pop, they executed it very well. You got the boulder, there's some debris flying everywhere. He's in a running pose, obviously, because he doesn't want to get smothered by a boulder. And of course, he is holding the idol like you would see in the SDCC pop. So this is a really awesome pop, and I knew that this had to be number 1 on my list, but some people might disagree, which let me know your opinion of your favorites down below. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, on my top 10 list of Indiana Jones Funko Pops, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you're gonna be seeing Dial of Destiny in theaters, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.